Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Robin's Nest. The speech police are at it again, this time in Indycar. We're going to talk about it, and also some other interesting things I feel like bringing up and getting y'all's opinion on. So, without further ado, if you are interested in auto parts, t-shirts, hats, diecast cars, I keep doing it backwards. I have like a routine that I try to stick with when I spit that out, and I just did it backwards for the first time. So, but anyways, if you're interested in any of that kind of stuff, check out our eBay page. The link is in the description. 15% sale on everything site-wide for a while now. Anyways, and also if you find this channel interesting, you like listening to me talk about motorsports, racing, cars, anything motor related, make sure to like, subscribe, leave a comment, turn on notifications, the works. Now, without further ado, let's get into it. So, Honda announced, they've been kicking the can down the road, and they've been talking about it for a while now, but officially, let me turn this a little bit. There we go. That's better. So officially, Honda / Acura will be producing brand new parts for some of their older models. And by older models, some of their more iconic nameplates. I think the NSX is going to be the first one starting in 26. It's not going to be remanufactured parts. It's not going to be anything like that. It's going to be brand new parts produced by Honda for their older models. Bleh, if I can spit it out, which I think is great. And I think this is a path that several different brands should probably look at taking, because a lot of people still drive old cars. I for one, I'm not real keen on buying brand new cars because A, they're overpriced. They depreciate a lot when you buy them and then drive them off the lot. And so I think that with the amount of older vehicles now, in America, Barack Obama tried to kill that with the cash for clunkers deal, which was one of the absolute worst policies that any politician has ever put in place. And I'm not saying that to dunk on Democrats. I'm not saying that as a conservative or anything like that. I'm just saying that across the board, because during that period, I voted for Obama. Okay, so it's not a bias thing. It was a terrible policy that took a lot of great vehicles and killed them. You know, because when you traded in a car on that Cash for Clunkers program, whoever you traded it into, the dealership or whatever, they couldn't resell that car. They couldn't resell any of the parts off that car. They had to, I don't remember exactly what it was that they did, but they did something to destroy the engine so it couldn't be resold. And then they got a credit from the government for falling in line with the Cash for Clunkers deal. The result of that is a lot of great classic cars, I guess classic by today's standards, so even in the 90s, but a lot of cars disappeared from the road. Great cars. And it's a shame, and it ruined the used car market there for a while too. It's only slowly started to come back to where it was prior here in the last few years. So, anyways, glad to hear the Honda's doing that. It'd be, like I said, it'd be really cool for every other nameplate, to every other marquee, however you want to say that, to jump on board and do the same thing. Somebody needs to pick up Saab and make some Saab parts. Because is there anyone, and I may be wrong, but is there anyone out there making parts for Saab right now? This is a genuine question, because I saw someone down the street from my house not super long ago had one sitting out in the front yard for sale. And I thought to myself, but I love Saabs. Saabs look great. You know, they're kind of weird, kind of unique, kind of different. And according to Top Gear, the only people that drove them were architects, but I don't think that's quite true. I don't think the person down the street from me that was selling it was an architect. I could be wrong, though. I don't know. But, yeah, those cars are just different enough, man, to where they stuck out to me. I really liked them. Even the later models, which were nothing but like rebranded GM products, I still thought were kind of cool. But to my knowledge, like I said, I don't think anyone makes parts for those cars anymore. And if they do, they're very, very few and far between. And I'm sure parts are not cheap. So anyway, Nolan Siegal, who drives for Aero McLaren in the IndyCar series, was reprimanded this week. And there's no penalty yet that I'm aware of. But he was reprimanded. And keep in mind, this is on the heels of what happened with Carson, what happened with Tab Boyd in NASCAR. But he was reprimanded for going off over the radio Sunday night. Going off, I used air quotations on that. And what he did was he was getting ready to go a lap down. Scott McLaughlin was getting ready to pass him. Scott drives for Penske. And he ran Scott down to the bottom of the racetrack. And I think they had an issue the week prior or something like that had kind of ticked off Nolan. And so IndyCar penalized him for running Scott down the racetrack. I mean, you're a lapped car, you're supposed to get out of the way. I mean, you can race to a certain extent, unless it's Indy, apparently. Like, if you're at Indianapolis, you can just stay right in front of the leaders. At Gateway, it's a problem. Does that make sense? Not at all. But anyway, that's what happened. He went off. He started cussing Roger and Scott. Yeah, obviously he said a lot of stuff that he shouldn't have said, but shit, his team had thrown him under the bus. Have thrown him under the bus. No. And an argument that everyone keeps hitting me with is, well, Nolan is not that good. He's not been running that great with McLaren. I don't remember if Nolan is a rookie, if this is like his sophomore year, but nevertheless, outside of Pato, who's actually run good in those cars? As in, like, top 5 on a consistent basis. No one has, really, that I can think of. Again, I could be wrong, but that just off the top of my head, I don't think anyone has. And so, Aero McLaren is not exactly a top shelf team in IndyCar. And so, you know, his results, I don't think, are indicative of exactly what he can do behind the wheel of a race car. Now, I'm not saying that he's the next Scott Dixon, but I also don't think he's terrible either. Ignore that. But no, the thing is as a team, why would you throw your driver under the bus publicly like that? You know, to come out and condemn his words. I don't fully understand that. Outside of the fact that it was Penske and Scott that he was dogging on the radio. And since Penske owns the series, they went into full-on damage control. And I think in the worst possible way, too. And you know, the thing about the radio communications, it's gotten out of hand, in my opinion, over the past few years. You know, we're to a point where it's like everything that is said on the radio, back and forth between the team and the driver, like everyone can hear it. I can't tell you how many times I've been watching race coverage and the TV crews had to apologize for language that you hear on the broadcast. Either that or they have to bleep out everything. You know, why? I just don't understand why we're in tune with everything that they're saying. I don't think we should be. I think these are driver radio communications back and forth, and people are going to disagree with me because this came up in Formula One not super long ago, and I understand both sides of it, but I just think that, you know, what a driver and a team say on the radio should be between the driver and the team. There shouldn't be third parties listening outside of the sanctioning body. And to that point, I don't think the sanctioning body should really be listening to it that close, honestly. But yeah, I think it was wrong. But I'm going to read you the statement, because the statement is absolutely ridiculous. It's some of the most woke nonsense I've ever heard in my life. Okay, let's check this out. Here it is, and I'll put it up on screen so you can read along. Okay, because it's gonna be our fun little story time, basically. So, at Aero McLaren, we hold ourselves to the highest standards of professionalism, respect, and sportsmanship, on and off the track. The language expressed over the radio during the past raced weekend. Raced. What is raced? The past race weekend
does not reflect who we are as a team. We do not condone that behavior. We've addressed it directly with Nolan, and he has taken responsibility for his actions. Accountability is a core value at Aero McLaren, and we expect every team member to respect our partners, fans, and organization with integrity. Additionally, we expect our fans and online community to act with respect and civility, and we will not tolerate hate, abuse, or discrimination within our social media platforms. It is vital that we collectively maintain a safe and welcoming community for all involved. Well, boy, if that doesn't just melt your heart. I know it does for me. It, you know, it makes me want to just come together with it. Come on, man. I can't even make fun of it. It's so stupid. I have no respect for an organization that will deliberately go out of their way, unprompted, to publicly smear one of their own employees. Like, what are you thinking? Oh my God, he said some bad things about Roger Penske over the radio in the middle of the race. Forgot that. Can't have that. Nope. Let's go make a public statement throwing him under the bus and offering him up to the freaking hyenas on social media. Like, come on, man. Honestly, I don't even know what to say. It's so ridiculous. It is so ridiculous. And I hope Nolan looks for another job, because, I lost any respect I had for... And Zach Brown, like, what are you doing, man? What are you doing? Absolutely insane. Absolutely insane. Almost as insane as my son's first car. He's 15. He's going to turn 16 in January. I bought a 2001 Ford Taurus for like $800. And it runs, had title to it and everything. It needs some work done to it. It needs, we had to replace the master cylinder because it had no brakes. Brake pedal went straight to the floor. And I think the booster needs to be replaced for too much longer. And then it needs some other things. What's crazy to me is the AC compressor is like warped. So as the car is running and as the belts are turning, it's chewing up the belt. I just put a brand new belt on it a couple weeks ago. And we've driven it around the yard, not really even out on the road. I drove it back from the shop, to and from the shop, which is like a mile away from the house, if that. I can see it from my front yard. And the belt is chewed up. It's no good. So, but yeah, and to the point, like, it's warped so bad that if you let the car run for a few minutes, smoke will be coming off of it. Okay, this is not a great car. Okay, but when I was 16, my first car wasn't a great car. I've never understood these people who will go out and buy their kids like a brand... Let me stop right there, because some people might take offense to that. Some people that I know might take offense to that. To each their own, okay? I do think that teenage girls need to have a nice car when they start driving, because obviously you don't want your teenage girl broken down on the side of the road. I'm all for that. I agree. Like, my daughter, when she turns 16, she's probably going to have a nice car, a newer car. But my boys, they've got lessons that they've got to learn, which is, you've got to take care of what you have. You have to put money back. You have to work. You have to work for what you have, okay? You're not going to have anything handed to you. I made that comment in a post regarding Juneteenth yesterday. One of the Indy Next drivers was talking about Juneteenth and all the stuff that comes along with that. And I made a point that I don't care what color, what gender you are. In motorsports, it should be that you have to earn what you have. It's not like that. I understand that, but Bubba Wallace, for example, he did nothing at Richard Petty Motorsports and ended up with a satellite Gibbs team. Okay, and whatever, but same thing with your everyday car. I don't want my kids to be spoiled. My boys, anyways. So, anyways, we bought this Taurus, and it's got a couple things, and I'm making him, because he does work here and there, and he cuts grass for people and stuff like that. So I'm making him pay for all the parts that the car needs before January. I'll put them on. I'll fix it myself. He's just going to pay for the parts because it's going to be his car. And I already paid for the brakes to be fixed. We got it registered and we got it insured because he's going to start learning to drive as well after he gets his permit. And so, anyways, all that to say that me specifically, I want to wrap his car because it's a 2001 Taurus. Those cars they're not pretty. Okay, let's just be real. They're hideous. Okay, they're crap. They were when they were new. They still are. As Jeremy Clarkson would say, it was built by idiots. And then something else, I don't remember. I do, but I'm not going to say it. But anyways, I want to wrap the car. And I want to wrap it in late 90s, early 2000s NASCAR livery. Because why not, man? It would be sick. The only problem is that I can't land on which one I want to do. Because they were like all good. All of them were. I've tried to find bad ones. The only real bad one I can find was like Dick Trickle made a couple of like here and there starts, and number 13 Nations Rent Ford in 99, I believe. It was god awful. Outside of that, they all look great. And I was kind of half joking when I said, we'd put Mark Martin's livery on it because of the Viagra sponsorship, but the 2001 version of that car looked so good with the silver and the blue. But then also, like Kevin LePage's Prom Star car from 1999 looked great. And I'm talking about the one that's like orange and yellow, not the blue and yellow one. I was crazy about that one. And then the TV Guide car was just sick. It just was. I know those are like late 90s Tauruses. The one that we have is 2001. I know it's not exactly the same because they changed the front end a little bit. But still. And then I keep going back to Dick Trickle's and Junie Dunleavy's 90 Heilig Myers car from 1998. To this day, like one of my favorite cars that's ever been in NASCAR, at any point. I love Junie Dunleavy's team. I love the fact, so Junie Dunleavy was like Mike Midler in the truck series. Mike's the guy who won the 63 truck. I think 26 is a number that they ran. But he gave so many guys like their start in big time motorsports, big time NASCAR racing. Jamie McMurray got his start with Mike Midler, just for instance. And Junie's team was the same way. And Junie ran a team for decades. And I think they won one race with Dick Brooks. And that was it. But guys like Ken Schrader, got their start. And Dick came into NASCAR late, as far as like with age. And so landing a top shelf ride was probably never going to happen, just because of that. But Junie gave him a shot in that 90 car, and then they had some really good runs together. And so I loved that car when I was a kid. I still love it. But then I also love Hutch Strickland's Junie Dunleavy car from 2001 with the Hills Brothers. Not the one for 2000 because I didn't really care for the maroon with the gold flakes in the paint. I didn't care for that. But the one in 01 that was more maroon, but it had like a bunch of yellow on it. God, that was a good looking car. But then you had Robbie Gordon's car from 2000 with the Menards livery that looked good. And then basically every livery that Wally ran in 2000 looked good. Hey, I don't know, man. It's a tough decision to make. But then the Ultra Motorsports Ford looked great too with Nations Rent sponsorship. It was slow and terrible. Speaking of that, I'll never forget the race in 2001. Robbie Gordon dominated that race and should have won at Sonoma. And it was a one-off deal for him because back in those days, Rob was, nothing's really changed. Robbie's still kind of Robbie's Robbie, as Tony Stewart said. And so back in those days, he was not easy to work with. You remember he was driving for Morgan McClure at the beginning of 2001, and you know, stuff came out where he was telling the team basically how to run the team, and they didn't care for that. I mean, who would? This guy is an employee and he's trying to tell you how to run your team. Yeah, nah. Sorry, dude. See ya. Go find another job somewhere else. And so, like, you heard a lot of that stuff behind the scenes about Robbie back in the day, that he was difficult to work with. And I think Richard Childress was public about that several times, and people that worked with him at Childress. The whole deal with Dale Jr. at Bristol, and I think it was 2002, where Junior ran into Robbie on the racetrack, and then after the race, Robbie run all over Junior on pit road, smashed in the front of his car, and like the radio communication, you know, they were giving Robbie a hard time because like, dude, you're tearing up our car after the race is over. What are you doing? Anyways, I'm getting sidetracked, but let me get some ideas. Like, y'all comment in the comment section and let me know what you think, because we're gonna wrap this car. It's going to happen. Because like I said, an 01 Taurus is just a turd box, and it's not pretty. It's not much of anything. It's not a chick magnet or anything like that. It's a Taurus. So we're going to do something with it. Anyways, that's it for today. We've got, I think, 24 hours of Nürburgring this weekend. So you guys check that out, because nothing is better than some good endurance racing. And I think Porsche actually is on the pole, which is fitting. You know, German make and German race. They're going to be tough to beat, I believe. And then we got supercars tonight. I tried to stay awake watching it last night. Since I'm in Alabama, our time is completely screwed up when it comes to, you know, match, like the overlap. They start late, and I can't stay up that late. I literally am falling over my chair trying to watch it. But I'm trying to think of what else we got going on this weekend. Good racing. NASCAR's in Pocono, but yeah, that's about it, really. But the trucks are going to be good. See, I watch the truck series all the time, regardless of anything that NASCAR does, because of Lane Riggs. I know some folks who are close to Lane, so got to support him no matter what. Regardless of idiotic decisions that NASCAR makes, I'm still going to support Lane through thick and thin, and Spencer Boyd. So make sure to check the truck race out for sure. I know they just qualified and practiced a little bit ago. I don't really know where anybody finished or how that ended up. So anyways, I'm rambling. But if you enjoy listening to me ramble, make sure to like, subscribe, turn on notifications, the works, share this video, tell your friends, sing it from the rooftops, tell everybody. If you're interested in die-casts, cars, t-shirts, hats, auto parts, any of that kind of stuff, make sure to check out our eBay. Link is in the description. 15% off store-wide for the foreseeable future. We appreciate you guys watching. It means a lot. And until next time, we'll see you. Peace.
És 100 fölfele. 100 fölfele, jobb 2 tempó, 20-ra bal 2 tempó, 20-ra bal 2 tempó, 25-re bal 2 szűk, bal 2 szűk, és bal 2, és bal 2, majd 50-re jobb 2, itt a bal 2, és 50-re jobb 2, majd szűk 50-re jobb 3 az aszfaltra. Szűk 50-re jobb 3 az aszfaltra.